But you know, my husband and I do get along fine because there's no arguing going on. The only thing that's odd about him to me is he grew up thinking that cooking out was housework. Now, everybody in here, do you think cooking out is yard work or is it housework? Yes, but it's division of duties, but I'll do it. But the thing I learned from cooking out, you know that grill, to keep it going on, how do you stay excited about your life? And I got it from the grill. You got to add some fuel. You got to find something that's fuel for you in your life. I mean, you got to find something you enjoy. I enjoy rooting flowers. I mean, you can enjoy the computer. You can enjoy your grandchildren. But you've got to find something you enjoy that's fuel for you. And every grill in the world has little air vents on the top and little air vents in the bottom. That's because every once in a while you have to go and take a little breath. Have you ever seen yourself just going and helping with the church, helping with the neighbors, helping at work? I'm on this committee. Oh, yes, I would love to sponsor that. I mean, you just get yourself going. Well, you need to step back and go, take a little time for yourself. And you know what? Have you ever seen a grill that didn't get any air? What happens? Burns out. You ever seen a burned out nurse? These are my pills, get your own. Have you ever seen a burned out school teacher? See, my sister, I wanted to be a vet. She wanted to be an architect, but we just grew up in the decade that didn't allow that. They made her a first grade school teacher. She doesn't like children. She taught first grade for 30 years. It gets worse. She taught first grade in the same school for 30 years. Can you imagine? It gets even worse. Cross my heart. She taught first grade in the same school, in the exact same classroom for 30 years. They got her and the furniture on the same day. I went into her classroom one time. I said, Carol, that's the princess's real name. I said, you are so burned out. She said, what makes you say that? I thought, well, have you ever looked around your classroom? Have you ever spruced it up? She said, what's wrong with it? She was mad. I thought, well, look at your bulletin board. The pilgrims have on bell bottoms. Do you spruce up your house, spruce up your office? Do you spruce it up? Does it still look like a happy place? Or does it look out like 50-year-old government where you got the same notice, it's just crackled and And part of life is being in a happy place. And I think you've got to brighten up your life and find out something you enjoy. But you know what? I traveled all those years. I wasn't happy. I looked for jobs to make me happy. I had 15 jobs in the first 5 years I was out of school. I got so bad I'd go in and apply. They'd make me fill out that application. They'd say, in what area do you have the most expertise? I told them orientation. Because that's what I'd done the most of. But it finally dawned on me, it's up to me to bring joy to the job, happiness to my life. Nobody's going to do that for me. And I had some big changes. All my life I have been very overweight. And I really have been in the high size 20s. I mean, just the energy was gone. So I decided, okay, I got to look at three things. One is taking better care of my health. I don't want to grow old hurting. Do y'all know what I mean? I don't want to grow over hooped over. I don't want to grow over where I can't get them downstairs. Everybody here ought to get on the floor at least once a day. See, can you get up? Because that's going to be the end question. Can you get off the floor? I mean, that's the kind of thing. I don't mean for your body shape and looks. I mean just functional kind of. First thing I did was I called up a health spa. And then I decided that I was going to not get so stressed out. How many of y'all have stress? Yeah. I was not going to let everything get to me. It's almost like mountains and molehills. It's like go to the coast and draw a circle in the sand and get inside that circle. And I'm saying, I'm not going to let the molehills, the little things, get to me. Sure, just like you, I have hissy fits. Do y'all have those? Things jump, things go wrong, and I just get all upset. But about the time a hissy with me starts down at my feet and works up, about the time it gets right here, I think, wait a minute, is it worth being in my circle? And if it's not, I throw it out. I do my best to throw it out and reframe it. So I'm not going to get so stressed, and I'm going to learn to laugh faster. Laughter lets out little puffs of pain. We need to collapse the time between something bad happening and you laughing at it. First thing I did is I called up that health spa, got the little girl on the phone. She said, "Hi!" Scared me to death, all that energy. I thought, "Hi." I've been a psychiatric nurse. I can calm her down. I said, "Hi, this is Bobbie Staten. I want to come talk to you about joining your health club." She said, "Oh, good, oh, good, oh, good. We just love to have new people. Why don't you come down today about 4 o'clock, wear some loose-fitting clothes, and join us?" She didn't have a clue. If I had owned any loose-fitting clothes, I would not have made that call. But I got down there and pulled open the door, and she saw me. "Ah, you must be Bobbie." And I thought, "And no doubt you're Buffy." She said, "Well, now tell me, what is it you want to do today? Like, do you want to bulk up?" I thought, "No, I don't want to bulk up. I want to slim down." I said, "What do you suggest?" And then she went on to all teach me about health. See, I think in this room, health is not an education problem. I think it's a motivational problem. Don't we all know what to do? And then life jumps in the way. I said, "Well, what do you suggest?" And she went on to teach me about aerobic and all that stuff. She said, "You need to get some equipment at home." Well, I thought, all right. I bought an exercise bike, put a tractor seat on it and everything. Have y'all seen those little seats? Have you looked at me carefully? This is going to hurt. I got on the bike. They always say 25 minutes 3 times a week. Have you heard that? 25 minutes. I got on that bike. I took that timer, turned it to 25 minutes. And I started pedaling. This is not a good view, is it? I started pedaling, arms and legs and hands are flying. I pedaled and I pedaled and I pedaled. I pedaled till my hair just frizzed right out. I pedaled till makeup ran down to my chest, and my chest was resting on my knees, and my legs were on fire. I looked down. I'd been on that bike 2 minutes. And you laugh because you've been there and done that. See, I'm saying to you, I just want to be an encourager. You can't do 25 minutes 3 times a week till you start out at 1 minute. For some of you, just putting on your tennis shoes will be aerobic. You know, time you get that leg up, you know. But I just want you to start where you are, because you will lose it. You will. Have you seen people in their 60s that are almost unable, and then you see people in their 80s that are still functional, getting up and down? See, that's up to you. And we've learned that people in their 80s can still start. I mean, it's not too late. That's all I want to say. My mother's 84 and 87 this week, sometime this month. 87. I think I've been telling this since she was 84. She walks 2 miles a day. It just amazes me. We have no idea where she is. But if she can do it, I mean, that's the sense of, I'm inspired by her. And that second little piece, stress. One night I woke up in the middle of the night and heard a thump and ran outside to watch. It was my car driving off. Scared me to death. There were 4 men stealing it. Now you guys are wondering what kind of car I had. One with the keys in it. I ran into the house, picked up the phone, dialed 919. That's our area code in North Carolina. Finally got the policeman on the phone. He said, calm down, calm down. I thought, I'm not calm. I'm about ready to have a hissy fit. But then all of a sudden, it dawned on me, that saying went through my head. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I had accidentally let that car right inside my circle. Now, do you think a car belongs inside your circle? The men won't answer. They need more data. Rust on the body. How are the tires? No, a car doesn't belong inside your circle. I threw it out mentally. I went into the kitchen, waited for the policeman, had an adult beverage. Well, it wasn't like I was going to drive anywhere. Policeman got there and never seen anybody quite this happy about having their car stolen. But see, I told him I have reframed it. I've thrown it out. I'm no longer looking at this as a stolen car. I'm seeing it now as more of a shopping opportunity. But you know, one of the biggest stressors in life to me are other people. You know, I could do my job pretty well if it weren't for you. How many of y'all have gone to the coast and watched somebody catch crabs? Have you ever watched, they put a little bait in the water and an old crab will come along, he'll grab the bait and you pull him out. And he's not hurt, he's just stupid. He's thinking dinner, and so are you. And you can take him and put him in an old aluminum bucket. But you better watch him, because he can get out of that bucket. He'll stand up on that hind leg, reach up with that claw and pull himself out, and he'll bite you right on the toe. But I learned a valuable lesson. If you ever catch that second crab, you're home free. Did you know that? Because 2 crabs can't get out of a bucket. Because every time that first crab throws his claw up, starts to pull himself out, that other crab will reach right up and pull him right back down. How many of y'all know some crabby people? And how many of you will admit to having been a crab from time to time? See, I think if you've got a crabby person in your office or in your kitchen, you might just want to put one of those on their counter. I don't know how it got there. In the office, you need them every department. Just pass the crab. Who's the crabby today? And if you're married to one, you just want to put it on his pillow. And if you wake up one morning and can just tell it's going to be that kind of day, you might want to just pin it on. Let people know how your mood is. But you know, I've decided in life, I don't want to pull people down. You know, that's one way to get ahead is pull you down. But I've decided we're all in this bucket together. And I don't want to pull you down. I want to boost you up. Remember when we were young and we'd give somebody a knee up and a boost up onto the playhouse or over the fence? See, I don't want to boost you up. I mean, pull you down. I want to boost you up because I've been in the bottom of that bucket. How many of y'all have been in the bottom of that bucket? The crab bucket. It's dark and it's lonesome and you can't even remember the light of the day. See, I pretend to have a little laser pointer right here on my belt. I pretend to have a belt. My story. When I see people in the bottom of the bucket, I want to shine on them. Does that make sense? It's so easy to shine on somebody. I like that tie. I like that necklace. You do a really good job. Thank you for always leaving the department clean. I really appreciate it. Thank you for calling when you knew my brother was sick. It's so easy to shine on people. See, I get mad at my husband because I want him to say, I love you. He's mute, remember. He does. 3 words in a row are going to be tough for this man. I want him to say, I love you. But he's reminded me of something I learned in school. People don't know what you think or how you feel till it leaks out in a behavior. See, I want him to say, I love you, but my husband's a finished carpenter. That's an oxymoron. Because he's never finished anything. But if you come to my house, I have the most beautiful heart pine floors. I have pull-outs on every cabinet drawer. I have rheostats and crown molding and wainscoting. See, my little husband's not saying, I love you. What's he doing? Showing me. And you know the most loving thing he does? On Sunday nights, I travel all over. He'll say, Bobbie. I told you that side of the family. Bobbie, get your schedule. Do y'all know schedule? That's schedule, but schedule. I'll go upstairs and get my schedule and bring it down. And you know what he does? He looks over it, and purity puts it to memory. And on a day like today, I won't get back to the little tram that takes me to the airport for my little mobile phone will ring. And it'll be my little mute husband. And he'll say, just checking. Do you know what those 2 little words mean? I love you, I care about you, to have a good time, did you do a good speech, you think you could sell any books and tapes, how hard was it to get there, did you decide what you want to wear, do you think you'll get invited back? He knows all he's got to say is just checking, and I will handle the rest. But if that little mute man can reach out and shine on me 3 or 4 states away, how are you shining on the ones in your family? Sometimes we get so caught up in ourselves and our day-to-day, we forget a little phone call, a card, a bow, a note. That's so now with email, shoot a little email thinking about you. That's all it needs to say. I mean, just a little shine. That's all I ask for, is just shine on people. But I know I act like a Pollyanna. I act like I never have a bad day. Well, I do. How many of y'all have ever flown? Isn't it harder than it looks? Weren't you shocked the first time you got up in the sky and realized the states were not outlined in different colors? And now since 9/11, they've made it harder and harder. Now they want you to get to the airport 2-3 days in advance. And they scan all your stuff. You got to put your suitcase through. And now when you get to the gate, they're doing a new thing called the random searching. Y'all, they don't know what the word random is, because they get me almost every time. I get up there and they make you assume the position. Tell me, am I looking my best? And the little man comes up with his little wand. I looked at him and said, "That's your little wand." I said, "You know, I'm a big girl. You might want to get a bigger wand." And he picks it up and ring, ring, ring. I said, "Honey, that's an earring." Ring, 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 ring. Matching set. Ring, 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 ring. Navel ring. I don't really have one. He goes around behind me. Ring, 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 ring. Buns of steel. And I'm standing there and he says, "Ma'am, may I touch you?" And I'm thinking, what does he want? I hear a sound, pop, pop. I know that sound. I know that sound from nursing. That sucker's putting on gloves. And in nursing, I know why we put on gloves. And I'm thinking, what's he gonna do? But it finally dawns on me he's got to pat me down. He says, "Ma'am, may I touch you?" See, right here I have a dilemma. I have a moment. You have them all day long. Do I boost him up or do I pull him down? You don't think about it consciously, but every interaction you make is a positive or a negative one. "I don't like that outfit. I told you not to wear that outfit anymore." You never can saw right or screw the bulb in right. You know what I mean? You always leave things a mess. You just never, that negative. I mean, I can come in, sunshine and birds are singing, it's going to be a gorgeous day. And one of those dark cloud people say, "Yeah, but it's supposed to rain this weekend." See, I want to be up. I want to boost him up. I'm standing there, "Ma'am, may I touch you?" I pulled out my little laser pointer. I turned around and looked at him and said, "Would you?" Isn't that better than having a hissy fit and being mad? How many of y'all have had teenagers for sale? One of the hardest things for me are children. I mean, children get on my last nerve. I'm good with dogs. I mean, everybody has a long suit, but that's why I wanted to be a vet. But sure, my son, he's fine now, but during those teenage years, that was the toughest time in our relationship. Oh, he didn't like me, but that's all right because I didn't like him. He's strutting through the house. "Mom, it's my 16th birthday. What you gonna get me for my 16th birthday?" I told him space on a milk carton. He didn't think that was funny. Got his driver's permit and said, "Mom, I want to drive to school today. I have to have an adult. You can be it." And I'm thinking, woohoo. First time he's recognized me as the adult. He's outside getting the car ready. I'm inside getting dressed. He's tooting the horn. I am getting dressed. I came out with a life helmet, crash helmet, and a life preserver. He didn't think that was funny. I got in the car with that obnoxious child. But that's not what greeted me. There sat my little baby with a cherub face. He had his little hands on 10 and 2. He had his seatbelt on. He had adjusted the rearview mirror, and now I'm just pooched with pride. I'm thinking, that's my baby. Mother said I was a good mother, and he'd be a good son. One day it would just happen, and this is the day. I get in the car. He makes me put my seatbelt on. He loves me. I'm so happy. He backs up the car, doesn't hit anything, puts it in forward, misses the koi pond, misses the fence, gets out there where his front tires are right there on the pavement. and he changes right before my eyes. All of a sudden, that baseball cap swung on backwards. And he put that seat down in modified lazy boy. And he reached up with that finger and mashed the FM radio button and cranked the volume all the way up and turned the bass all the way down. And now my car has a pulse of its own. I said, Stephen, turn in that radio. And I mashed AM talk radio and turned it. He said, Mom, I'm driving. He turned it up. I said, yes, but it's my car. I turned it down. Y'all, my vessels were beating to the beat of the music. I was about to have a stroke. And I thought, if I ever get him home alive, I'm going to kill him. But all of a sudden, it dawned on me, whoops, I had accidentally let that FM radio right inside my circle. Now, do you think an FM radio belongs inside your circle? I threw it out mentally. I put my seat down in modified lazy girl, and I let him thump me all the way to the school. I put a pretend smile on my face. But see, I'm older and wiser, and besides that, I had a plan. I waited till he got right in front of the school, in front of the in crowd, and I broke out into the pony. We don't ride together anymore. But isn't that better than having a hissy fit? You know, things that get in my circle are different than yours. The big thing that gets in my circle, I like to be laughed with, but not at. I hate to do something socially inappropriate. I mean, that sense of, I'm always the one that doesn't know the bridal shower needs gray and pink. I bring Christmas red, and my little package stands out. I mean, that kind of thing just embarrasses me for weeks. I know when I first started speaking, IBM Corporation had a big presence in Raleigh, and they asked me to come. And right then, I knew that this is the life I wanted, not the nursing. I mean, they were dropping like flies. The patients just weren't making it. But I knew before I went to jail I needed to get out of that occupation. I mean, whoops, takes on new dimension. Well, IBM asked me to come, and I had gone and scouted them out, and they were back in remember the power suits? The men were dressed in suits, the women were dressed in suits, and I'm in the little white outfit. So I went out and bought me a little suit. I was looking good. I came in that day and opened the door and hadn't thought it through. That was 99% men. I was scared to death. My knees shook. I walked down the aisle. I got up on the little stairway and started to erase the chalkboard. This is before PowerPoint. Can you imagine? And about that time, I heard thunder. It was the man that had hired me. He came running down the aisle, didn't even use the stairs, jumped up onto the stage, grabbed my skirt and said, Bobbie, your skirt was all the way up in the top of your pantyhose. Do you think that was funny then? I thought I can die or I can drop dead. And you know how when something horrible in your life happens, you have a flashback. Oh, I had a flashback. I could hear my mother saying, honey, always wear clean underwear. Crossed my heart. I remembered I didn't have any on. I had on pantyhose, and they have the little built-in panty. You don't have to wear another pair. Nobody's supposed to know. I remember putting on those pantyhose that morning. I got to tell you something. I was heavy at the time, but it's the same thing now. You know, they make pantyhose for women that are heavy. They're called just my size. And no, they're not. When I get ready to put on my pantyhose, I pull up a chair. The makers of the pantyhose, they don't get it. They think that we get taller. And I'm an optimist, always trying to think, now what is the good? What possible good lemonade kind of, what? And I thought about it, and I figured it out. If you're ever at the credit union and you decide on an impromptu robbery, you can just pull these things up. And I've never seen them catch a fat woman yet. You know, when you start pulling these hose up, first thing I do is I bring up a chair, and I sit down in the chair. You know, it wasn't just when I was heavy, it's now that I'm getting older. I have to pull up a chair. And then I use this hand to help me hoist that leg up. And then I take a break. Because I got a lot of work ahead of me. You know, the little pantyhose, once you start to pull them up, you don't want to pick them, you don't want to run them, and Lord knows you never want to get one twisted, you know. And I pulled them up to right here, what we're going to call a point of tension. And I had another flashback. Oh, y'all, that morning, I used to bite my fingernails, and I didn't want IBM to know. That morning, I had bought my very first set of little Lee press-on nails. And I remember that morning when I arrived at the point of tension that I accidentally popped both those thumb claws through those hose. And now it dawned on me that all that stands between all of IBM and me is a 6-inch diameter blowout. Have all y'all seen a blowout? A little rosette of human flesh. And I looked out there, those men were pale. They were in pain. And they needed a little puff of relief firsthand. I whizzed around and looked at him and said, guys, get a grip. All this time you thought IBM stood for International Business Machine. Well, you were wrong. Stands for I've been mooned. I know you enjoyed the humor because I heard you laugh. I want you to remember the message. I do have books and tapes out that back corner back there, CDs, DVDs. I want you to share the message. The message is about taking care of yourself and boosting people up. It's remembering that we don't have forever. We've got to do it now to make sure our forever lasts as long as it can. It's about saying kind things to people, shining on them. I know my husband had the quadruple bypass, and he's got that scar all down his leg. One day I came home, and he was standing in the bathroom shaving. He was looking at that scar, and I thought, you know, I need to shine on him. I walked up behind him and said, you know what, honey? You look like one of those Chippendale men to me. He didn't say anything. He didn't even smile. But I came home later that night. He was laid back in that bed with one of those bow ties on. Thank y'all so much for having me. Woo! Thank you so much. Look at my girls. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobbie. As Bobbie mentioned, she has a table at this far corner down here on your way out if you'd like to stop by and pick up some of her books or CDs. Or do you have any of the crabs for sale? I need a few of those. I'd like to thank Bobbie again. How about another round of applause for Bobbie Staten?
Enclosed in your annual meeting report is a copy of last year 2011 minutes. Is there a motion to waive the minutes of the reading? Is a motion and a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you very much. It's awfully hard to look at these lights out here. It's kind of blinding from up here. It's my honor and pleasure to serve as chairman of the board of directors of Atlanta Postal Credit Union. In 1925, postal employees established APCU. Our founders had one vision: to provide affordable financial